going to be a good one. Let's see what happens
0-0-2.
here.
All right, here we go on grandstand court.
I always love
Side
first
out.
points of pickleball games, Tyler, just because I want to see what kind of, you know, it could kind of set the tone for what the match is going to be like. And there's some really consistent dinking at the line. Krista Gecheva being aggressive on the attack.
Point.
The wind has switched again in the last 30 seconds since we started the broadcast for this match. Now it is going left to right on your screen.
1-0-1. Point.
Good
Great.
look from Maggie Brascia. She's looking for that combo, but again, started the
2-0-1.
game. Everyone's getting their feelers.
Second serve.
As Christian cheats over on the right side of the court, the left side of the screen, leaving her side of the court open
2-0-2.
as she cheated over into Krista's side there.
Point. Three, 0-2. Point.
An aggressive serve from Caitlin Christian. We know her as a strong, strong singles player, but she's utilizing the
4-0-2.
weapon of the serve here in this doubles match.
Side out.
Into the net, that ball goes as it heads over to the bottom of your screen or the left side of the court as
0-4-1.
Mary Brascia serves it up here.
Point.
Off the net, and getting Krista on the left side of her body.
Great baseline drive though there from Mary as she is now battling with wind.
1-4-1. Second serve.
Not quite able to get that ball over the net.
1-4-2.
You could see
Side
there
out.
that ball got away from Maggie off of the bounce on that dink. A little frustrating to play in, but all players definitely have to dial it
4-1-1.
in even more, stay on their tippy toes as the ball changes direction every second.
Second serve.
Obviously, the good player is able to play in any conditions. The great player is able to adjust to changing conditions, whether that's the weather, whether that's the team they're facing. We'll talk in just a
4-1-2.
second about adjustments you might be making and looking to make.
Side out.
If you were here and playing as the Brascias, what adjustments would you be looking for?
1-4-1.
Yeah, I mean, they're settling into the game right now. They're just trying to stay consistent, but really just staying on the toes is very important for them.
Point.
There's going to be a lot of shots where they have to maybe even communicate, although they've been playing together forever as their sisters.
2-4-1.
And yeah, just little things like that could go a long way.
Second serve.
One thing I loved is as Gecheva and Christian were warming up here, they were locked in, they were
2-4-2.
dialed in. Sometimes if you come in, as I was
Side
saying,
out.
if you come in ranked a little bit lower than your opponent, that can be a little bit intimidating as you're
4-2-1.
warming up on the court next to, obviously, PPA legends. But these guys seem to be locked in, and that has not affected them at all.
Krista Gecheva looking for the speed up there. That was a good take. I like it, but just giving a little too much on it.
4-2-2.
Yeah, Caitlin Christian.
Point.
Beautiful drive there on the forehand side. That ball's not coming back. She knows she's played on this court before. She knows the wind situation. She's going to drive in the wind.
Side out.
Krista also tries to take the opportunity, but misses long. Ahead by 3.
2-5-1. Point.
Maggie setting up that point very well. As you talked earlier, the dinking is like playing chess, right? And you have to set up both players, both of your opponents the way you want. And she was able to stay patient, stay in the point, and do that exactly the way she wanted to.
Nice discipline there from Gecheva. She just keeps that ball in. The last few shots, she's sailed the ball long. So on that one, she was just playing very high percentage, and that was a great adjustment from her.
Side out.
That ball hitting almost the exact same spot on the court, coming off the Brascia's paddle, going just a little bit long on the right side of your screen.
This time the ball stays in. Another drive from Gecheva. Brascia, good look. I like that let go from Brascia because a lot of her shots have been sailing long, and it's hard to kind of, see at the last second there.
Second serve.
Maggie turning almost as if she was grateful that ball did not come over the net.
Aggressive right now from Gecheva and Caitlin Christian. I like it. Yeah.
Side out.
And if you notice there that Caitlin opted to drop and they weren't quite successful getting in, the drive has been, on this side of the court that they're on, the drive has been successful for them.
Second serve.
Mary looking over to her coach and also their father, Vinny, for just a little bit of advice or thoughts.
Side out.
That ball goes on the right side again, coming out, which makes sense because not only is that ball going right on the court, but the wind is also going left to right on the screen that you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Second serve.
Mary just needs to do Mary. Like, she needs to worry about herself. She needs to trust in herself and not have to worry about her sister. That's when she plays her best.
Side out. Rescind. Point. Timeout receiver. 7-3-2.
You could see that
7-3-2.
Here in beautiful St. George, Utah, we have Caitlin Christensen serving, and here we go.
Side out.
Great point there. Obviously, the crowd loved that play, that shot there, as we get ready for Maggie to serve it back the other way.
Foot fault, left foot, point.
And a foot fault from Caitlin. We'll see replay here. Very close on the left toe there. Great call.
4-7-1. Point.
A good timeout for the Brascias as they not only got the side out, but they're able to get one on the scoreboard. Very important for them.
5-7-1.
If you notice, Maggie just looked around just a little bit, just trying to find the flags here and so that she can keep adjusting.
And
second serve.
As a player, you know where to set your paddle when the ball's coming back. So if the wind carries it and if you're setting up too early, the ball can get away with you, get away from you just like that.
Gecheva not quite able to return that back over the net as the lead closes to 6-7-2.
Side out.
Back over to the other side of the court where Caitlin Christian is going to be able to serve it.
Second serve. Seven, 6-2.
I like that off-pace speed up from Krista Gecheva, but Maggie Brascia doing a good job at letting that second one go. I want to see some positivity between the Brascias right now. Point construction there from Mary Brascia. The patience, the accuracy on her dinks.
Timeout receiver, 7-7-1.
And a timeout's going to be called by Gecheva.
And putting away some of those really important hand battles.
Yeah, and there's another missed shot. And see, just being consistent and staying positive, like you mentioned there, Tyler, goes a long ways for the Brascia. And you see Gecheva, instead of attacking that one, she opted to play the bounce. She didn't take the bait there, as she's been missing a couple out of the year. So good decision making from Gecheva.
You notice there that they are communicating extremely well. Christian and Gecheva, you, me, right? And those small things are leading to very big things for them in their upset earlier and their points here as well.
Point.
Lucky or unlucky, depending on who you're rooting for. Another variable that's tough in this game is that net. Did that ball stay in?
Mary's looking around like, what should the call have been?
Yes, you can. You can challenge your in ruling.
So the Brascias are going to go ahead and challenge the in ruling. As this challenge goes on, we're going to go ahead and take a quick minute for the rest to review.
After review, the in ruling is overturned. Ball was out.
So a good call from Mary. She has to trust herself. If she sees a ball out, she should call it out. But the thing is, she's doubting herself right now because she wants confirmation from her sister. So good call from Mary to overturn her in call. Second server.
Point.
Tough one, couldn't quite get that over the net. You know, there's a saying in pickleball, there's some people on tour who are married who play together, and they don't play mixed doubles together in a lot of those instances. on that previous thought, the point I was making is that it's just, you know, sometimes hard to separate pickleball and your relationship, right? But it seems like the Brascia sisters so far have been able to make the delicate balance between the two and still be pretty successful on tour.
That's amazing.
Ooh.
Second serve.
Good luck. They looked at each other like, let that go, please.
8-9-2. Point.
Great point construction there. The serve out wide really opened up the court on the right as Krista Gecheva was trying to get to the other side.
And we are all tied up here, 9-9.
You can see the want and the desire from Gecheva and Christian.
Point.
Wow.
Game point.
Good call there by Gecheva.
10-9-1. Point game. Timeout change in.
And the game.
And Christian on the bottom of your screen, who was able to take game number 1 against the Brascia sisters.
Point.
And they get the first point coming off of the small break between the games here.
1-0-2. Side out.
And I like it. Gecheva and Christian had really good, positive desire on the court. You could see it by the way they were encouraging each other. So now you're hearing Mary Brascia. She is not going to give up here in this game, too. She wants to take it to a third.
Tyler Baldwin and Michelle Esquivel, excuse me, here on Grandstand Court at the Black Desert Resort Red Rock Open as the ball goes back over to Maggie Brascia to serve.
Point.
So the tricky thing about the side of Gecheva and Christian is that they've been playing aggressively because they were playing into the wind. Now they need to be a little bit more patient. As you can see, they missed a couple shots as the ball is coming back towards the net when it bounces on their side.
That point there, lobbing the ball right out of bounds over at the broadcaster's booth. Just a bad communication right there, right? And we commented on their good communication earlier. I hope that, you know, we can not lose that as we, you know, are early into the second game here.
1-2-1. Second serve.
Second serve here for Christine.
1-2-2.
Excuse me, Krista Gecheva here.
First day, folks. First day.
Point.
Just gonna
2-2-2. Point.
Great pressure. You can see that with the drive, it's very tough for the Brascias to even get to the line to hit that shot. That's the pressure from the drive from Gecheva and Christian.
Point. Timeout receivers, 4-2-2.
And we're going to head to a timeout here. 4-2-2.
Side out.
Gecheva and Christian being on the bottom half of your screen
2-4-1.
right now if you're watching through the app.
Second serve.
Mary not quite able to make that over the net.
2-4-2.
Wow.
Way to handle the heat from Mary and Maggie Brascia, especially from Maggie, as she was using a lot of her flicks. And Krista Gecheva, she's just really seeing it. She's ahead of it and playing extremely well.
4-2-1. Second serve.
Christian looking for the speed up off the bounce. Unsuccessful. But I like that she's utilizing the opportunity to be aggressive on the service possession.
4-2-2 here on grandstand court.
So good from both ends. Such incredible defense, great patience on the offense. Finally, on that last shot, Caitlin Christian looking for a poach, and Maggie, doing such a great job at holding her shot, seeing that Christian was coming over and goes right behind her. Beautiful.
Mary Brascia serving 2-4-1 here.
Second serve. Two, 4-2. Point.
Nice quick point. That's what the Brascias want. Jeez.
Side out.
That caught Maggie by a little bit of a surprise, I think.
Yeah, the reset for Mary was just a tad bit too high. Gecheva just unleashing on that overhead.
4-3-1. Second serve.
Gecheva showing a little bit of frustration as that ball goes down into the net.
She got what she wanted. She would take that back immediately.
Side out.
Nice handle there at the net from Mary Brascia.
3-4-1. Second serve.
Just out for Maggie Brascia. We're going to go to second server here.
3-4-2. Side out.
The wind obviously playing a big factor here in this match, grandstand court, as it goes back over to Gecheva to serve.
4-3-1. Second serve.
Nice. Opting not to switch sides on the return of serve. Smart play
4-3-2.
from the Brascias as they've been as they were pulled out of position the last few points.
Side out.
Another quick side out.
Maggie Brascia for
3-4-1.
serve here.
Point.
Another close game in this matchup. Goes to show
4-4-1.
how much both teams want it. An ATP from Caitlin Christian. I love the patience as she goes and follows the ball as wide as possible to get that angle.
4-4-2.
sneaky attack there in the middle from Maggie Brascia, but she's unable to execute the combos there.
Obviously, the Brascia's dropping the first game in this match. Can you talk about the pressure they might be feeling as they're going to have to force a third game?
They're not feeling the pressure right now. They're just focused on playing 1 point at a time. They're not concerned about the last game. They're focused on this one. They know they have to win it, but they're not going to put the pressure on themselves by feeling it. They're going to go by a game plan, and they're going to try to execute as best as they can.
Point. Five, 4-1. Second serve.
Obviously, the Brascia decided to go soft on that last forcing a lob. Can you explain the reasoning behind maybe going short rather than going back to the baseline?
Yeah, it's actually been a controversial subject with some of the commentators here. I actually love that, because what happens is you see your players at a position way behind the baseline,
4-5-1.
and it brings them up to force a ball that pops up. So it really gets your opponent scrambling, and I like that option when it's right, when it's the right timing. Some good patience there from Christian and Gecheva.
No, you played the ball. You played the ball.
So the Brascia is trying to challenge a ball that they played that is not legal. So they go, okay, never mind. ATP, and it sails wide.
One thing I've been impressed with Gecheva and Christian is their ability to focus on the next
5-4-1.
To move on from the last point and move on.
Second serve. Five, 4-2. Side out.
Scoreless side outs. That means that both players are doing a really good job on the returning team at keeping the pressure on the servers. Nothing wrong with that.
Point.
Great dinking at the kitchen line. The Brascias are able to find something there against Gecheva, pushing her back behind that non-volley zone line. And that's really good if you could do that with your opponent, because that exposes more court and takes the pressure off of you to set something up.
Point.
Yeah,
Timeout
Gecheva's
receiver,
going to go ahead and call a
6-5-1.
timeout. A couple bad plays on her part, but not too bad, as they're only trailing by 1.
I think we've seen that right here as they've been able to battle it out together and stay close.
Second serve. Six, 5-2.
from Mary. That pushed both Christian and Gecheva to the baseline for another point.
I love how animated you get. And that's what we're seeing here is as people are excited and positive, they're able to stay, focused on the next point here for the Brascias.
Caitlin doing a good job at really controlling that point there. The Brascias have to be careful not to get Christian too involved right now. She seems to be the stronger player at this time in the matchup.
5-7-1.
Caitlin Christian back to serve.
Point.
And Gecheva staying composed there at the line. I like the matchup between Mary Brascia and Krista Gecheva on the cross court, but they're unable to
6-7-1.
stack on the return because they've been getting out of position. So Maggie Brascia creates her own strengths in executing a stop there on the service possession.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with Gecheva's baseline drives, especially on some of those returns as she steps back to serve. Second server here.
Point. Ooh, and a missed return. Again, the serves from Gecheva and Christian have been very hot this match.
Point.
2 quick points. Closer and closer to getting to the next round of the Red Rock Open. That dink was set up way too high. Gecheva right behind the non-volley zone line.
Free challenge
timeout. Put that ball down.
Receivers, 9-7-2, 45 seconds.
9-7-2. We still have a lot of points to play, and the Brascias are not one to give up without a fight here.
Relentless on the drives.
Match point.
Christian and Gecheva have earned their match point here against the Brascias.
10-7-2. Side out.
The crowd very excited about that one.
Yeah, we have a lot of SoCal players here. A lot of fans cheering for the Brascias.
Point.
Like I said earlier, the Brascias are not ones to give up, especially as, like you just mentioned, there are a lot of fans here gathered around Grandstand Court who can't even find a seat.
Red Rock loves their pickleball. Loves it.
Second serve.
What a drop there.
Great reset from Maggie Brascia, but she just wasn't ready in time for that next shot. A smart play from Krista.
Brascias are going to be on a second server here.
8-10-2. Side out.
That's not going to do it. They really needed to gain as much momentum as possible on that last side out there, as Gecheva and Christian have that number 10 on their scoreboard.
Point game
That
back.
does it for Gecheva and Christian. The dream